Ooh, hello, hello. Okay, think we fixed it that time. Did not mean to go out. All right. Hello, hello. Hi, hello everyone. Hello, hello. How are we doing today? Sorry about that weird. I don't know what happened. How are we doing? Where's everyone from? And happy Sunday. Hi, thanks so much for the support. What is your name? I'm here for game 1005. Thanks so much. Hi, hi, hi. And sorry about my crazy hair. I've been trying to keep it down. Cali, that's awesome. I've always wanted to go to California. That is definitely on the list. West Virginia, LA, Chicago. Ooh, I love it. Keep telling me. We're going to wait for a little bit more people to come. West Virginia. Ooh, Maryland, Massachusetts, South Africa, California. Good morning. Hello, hello. Oh, thanks so much. Oh, okay. Let me start with the first question. I saw one and I don't want to move past it. Are rupias roaches good for bearded dragons? Or rupias roaches? I can't say I've ever heard of that, but I want to write it down somewhere. Actually, I'm just going to screenshot this so I can look it up later. And if you have an Instagram or a Snapchat or even Facebook, you can message me about that and I will have the answer for you. I'll be like, all right, it's that person. Okay. Texas, ooh, Florida, Ireland. I've always wanted to go to Ireland. St. Louis, Washington, Texas. Oh my goodness. Britain, Canada. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Ah, okay. My bearded dragon won't eat. Help. Are they, well, okay, I need a little bit more information than that. Are they brand new? Like, how long have you had them? Also, what have you been feeding? How old are they? I need a lot more information because there is so many reasons why a dragon won't eat. The main reasons, though, I'll tell you, are illness, them not liking the food and the incorrect temperatures, like in the tank, or just them being stressed, like it's a new environment. Mm-mm. My baby is in brumation and it's freaking me out. Well, I have a few brumation videos on the channel that can help you out there. Brumation is normal and it can happen any time of the year, but I would be sure that you have gotten them to the vet beforehand, simply because a lot of people that are new owners tend to mistake illness for brumation and it can end tragically, but so normally you just want to get that testing done, like a fecal sample and just like a general checkup to make sure that they're fine before they go into brumation. So just if you haven't done that, you can still do that. Just don't shock them and be sure you transport them safely. New York? Oh, wow. How about night crawlers as a staple? Night crawlers, I believe those are the earthworms, correct? So these they can eat, but generally I have to say that bearded dragons don't really like night crawlers, not as much. I have seen some eat them, but it's just like they seem to be super slick and they seem to get frustrated with them quickly. So I don't feed them, but they are a fine staple to have. Is it natural for a beardie to want to dig a lot? This is a natural characteristic of dragons because they tend to like dig or like kind of go into a spot in the wild. But the issue is with that and having there's like a it's a whole issue in the bearded dragon community because they do have that natural instinct. So having them like bringing them to places like the beach is okay. It's just when you live in an environment with sand all the time that also isn't natural, you can have so many complications, also bacteria buildup and just all of these different things. But I have seen people create a dig box within their enclosure. There's a debate on if cocoa fiber is good or not because this actually can cause impaction if the dragon were to eat it. But generally, they don't eat that. I've never had an issue with that, but I have recently found that this can sometimes be an issue. Um, so you can have a dig box in the tank, and some people even like make felt dig boxes and stuff like that for them to dig in. you know. So this is a natural trait, but it just becomes tricky if you're trying to put loose substrate. You can have a bioactive tank set up, which does have loose substrate and it's all natural soil and stuff like that. So might be something you can look into if you're interested. Boston, oh, it's nice to have you. Are strawberries good for bearded dragons? Strawberries and other fruits like that are good on occasion. So once or twice a week max when feeding fruits for the day. Ooh, wow, that's awesome. I'm British and I've had my dragon 6 months now. That's awesome, Simon. Hi, Astral. I had her for 3 weeks. She has crickets, dubias, and superworms. The heat might be it. Okay, so if you've had her for 3 weeks, well, also how old are they? And how, like, because if they're under a year old, then they should be fed bugs a majority of the time, but you still need to give them salads so that they know it's food and that they are used to eating it because a lot of the times when it comes to adult dragons, the issue that they have with salad is because they weren't fed it when they were a baby and they don't know it's food and they're like, I've never been fed this before. Why are you giving me this now? I mean, think about that. I wouldn't like that either. So you can start feeding salads most of the time when they are anywhere from 10 months to a year old. And from there, you feed twice a week. Usually, that's what I feed. I feed twice a week with bugs for an adult dragon. So, with you, superworms is not a staple, it is a treat because of the outer shell being hard to digest for them. So, I wouldn't feed it all the time, but the other ones are perfectly fine to feed. And your temps, what are your temps like? How long do your lights normally take to heat up? That is a very good question. I have all of my tanks on a timer, so I'm sleeping when my lights turn on. So my lights come on around, I think like 8 a.m. ish, and I'm always asleep around that time, so I don't really remember. I think it's a good like 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes before they heat up fully. Like if I have a slate tile as the basking spot, that's going to take a little bit longer to heat up than a plastic object as well. So it kind of depends on what you have under the basking spot. Now the bulb itself, it's already hot. It's really what you're talking about is their basking spot and getting the heat down to there because the bulb is already hot. It's just that basking spot that won't be. Oh, that's so sweet. I love watching your videos. You are my favorite YouTuber. That's so sweet, the gamer girls. My baby has no tail and I have no money. I found them in a tree. Huh. Okay, so this was a wild dragon. I, hmm, if they were a pet that was lost, I would say definitely that is something that can be taken in. Things from the wild you definitely shouldn't take in. I'm a big believer of that, just not taking it from the wild, unless of course it was injured or something. But even then, I would always return it back because that is a wild animal. So I don't have any advice really, other than if it was a wild animal, I would put them back. Mm-mm-mm. Where do you live? I live in Virginia. He had his checkup and was yearly dewormed. I just get freaked out. He hasn't eaten or pooped or anything in weeks. That is what brumation is. They are asleep for weeks, 2 months at a time, sometimes 9 months, I think is usually the longest. That's just what happens with brumation. They're not going to, you know, usually get up. I mean, sometimes they do have breaks in the middle of brumation, come out, but the issue with that is a lot of people want to feed them and just start feeding them like normal because they're so excited their dragon is out, and then they go back in and they're stuck with all this food in the stomach. So I would generally, if they do come out of brumation, I would start feeding soft things just that are easily digestible and come out quickly and don't have to take like days at a time to digest like certain bugs. Um, because then that way you won't have any complications if they decide to go back into brumation. But them sleeping and not doing anything for months is normal. My longest I think was like 6 months, and I mean, my dragons didn't come out of brumation. I was like, all right, I'll just check on them. They're good. They're breathing. They're fine. That's just normal for them. Mine loves to eat hornworms. Hornworms are a great treat to feed. These are only a treat because they are high in water content, which is great, but they are also can build fat content and they don't have a lot of nutritional value. So this is why they are a treat, not a staple. But they are great to actually hydrate your dragon if they are dehydrated. I tend to feed hornworms to rescues a lot because they're also soft and easy to digest as well. Hi from the UK. I've just adopted a male dragon and he's very narky and a bit and bit me twice. How can I make him trust me? We love you. Oh, I love you too. So I actually have a video on bonding if you haven't seen this already. Another thing is watching the video that I have on care tips for beginners, simply because this covers a mistake that a lot of owners make. So when you are holding them, how are you approaching them? Because sometimes when you approach them, you can startle them. And if you have a calmer approach and come from below instead of above, that sees you as something that isn't a threat, opposed to this being a threat. There's a lot of different things you have to watch out for them, because you also have to kind of put yourself in their shoes. Think about it. They're terrified. You are so much bigger than them, and they don't really know if you're a threat, if you're going to eat them, if you're safe. They just don't know. So you have to kind of get them used to you, get them in a routine as well. So, because they are animals of routine. So, my dragons are always expecting food at the same time each day. And if I don't have food at that time, they get real sassy because that's what they're used to. Now, I have also, you have different personality traits. And a lot of people say that they don't have personalities, whatever, but I will 100% say that though they have the same basic care requirements, I have to treat them differently, my two bearded dragons, because they just have different likes and dislikes. So, for example, one of my dragons loves being held, the other one doesn't. He likes being held at certain times of the day, and he also only likes certain people. Whereas my girl, Nick, she loves everyone. She just wants to be held all the time. She just wants love and cuddles and food and just all the love. So there's a difference. I have to approach him differently and I have to see if he actually wants to be held. He'll kind of like put off a stance if he doesn't want to be held. And I'm like, okay, I'll leave you alone and I'll come back. Nixie, she's just all for it. So you just have to know them. Um, so that's what I have for now. Watch those videos for more information and I hope that helped. Is it okay if they just sit by the window for hours? So I have actually done this. I have a video on how to make your dragon happy. Sitting them by the window is actually one of the things that I covered. It just entertains them. They just love, it's just so much sensory for them, and they're safe by a blockade. Now, if you have a bird coming towards the window, or if you have one that hits the window, which has happened to one of my dragons, they will freak out. Um, but generally they feel safe because there's a barrier between them and the outdoors, but they still get to look at everything. And there's so much going on. Now, if it's a calmer environment, they're generally going to be more happy, or they're generally going to be calmer. But they can sit by the window for, I want to say around 2 hours, I think is the max. But if it's warm and you have, like, say, a screen porch and there's like heat or something like that, they can sit out longer. But this is why you also have a temp gun. Temp guns are super, super important because when you're outside of the tank, you can read their body temperature and kind of determine when they need to go back in. Because if they get below 70, around like 75, 70, I would say is the lowest you should have them out at. Then I put them in if they get below that. But this temp gun is also important because I also monitor their basking spots throughout the day. Like it's great to have the digital thermometer and everything in the tank. That's very important. But the temp gun, every reptile owner should have, whether it's a bearded dragon, snake, any reptile, you should have a temp gun. That's my spiel for now. Um, what tank and gallons are your beardies in? So this also goes on traits for the dragon on what they like and dislike. So the bare minimum that you should have is a 40-gallon breeder, not a 40-gallon because these are a lot more slender and they don't have much space. They aren't as wide on the bottom. So a breeder will be wider because it just requires more space. They are generally meant for fish when they're trying to breed and they need more space and all that. But anyways, so 40-gallon breeder. And if you um, have this, I have this for Nixie. She is in a 40-gallon breeder because she didn't do well in the 75-gallon. Now, Aether, he can literally jump out of a 40-gallon. So I needed something that was a bit taller and wider and bigger for him to climb on because he's a lot more active. So he is in a 75-gallon, and I'm probably going to put him in a 100-gallon once I get a bigger space. And Nyx, I might put her in a bigger one, but I don't know how she'll do. She just does a lot better in a 40-gallon. So that's what I have for them. And then my Uromastyx, which is actually right here, in that tank right there, she is also in a 40-gallon breeder as well. So, and I'm also going to move her out of this glass fish tank and put her into a wooden reptile tank where it's wood on all sides and glass in the front, because I will say it is recommended for bearded dragons and Uromastyx and things like that to have the wood, simply because you won't have the issue with the reflection on the glass, because that is a huge issue with these guys. But it is always cheaper for owners to get the glass ones, and they're just more readily available. These are fine, but if you have the issues with them seeing glass, because a lot of people will put the backgrounds on the outside of the tank, but you still might have a glare on the inside from the light at night and things like that. This is why wood is usually recommended for that. But it is still okay to have glass. I still have glass. I'm just going to be moving out of glass once I get a bigger space. So that is that. I almost want to let you know. Oh, I also want to let you know my boy Odin passed away 2 months ago, and he was very old. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. We rescued our dragon since March, but has had so many health issues. He will not eat on his own. We are desperate. Please help, help, help. Okay, so I can offer advice, but I am not a vet. I'm just an experienced owner that that does kind of have like I kind of have like a lizard pharmacy in my own home, but like really what you need is an exotic vet, because I can't help you really from this standpoint. And this is one of those tricky things. Like I really want to help, but it's just not a lot that I can really do, especially since there's so much more information that I would need, and also the fact that I'm not a vet. That big old caption elephant in the room there. Not a vet. I'm just an experienced owner. Mine has a weird orange bump on his head. So this again, if you have an issue with this and you are like really concerned about it, I would go see a vet. A lot of people think that there's a weird bump on their head and it's called the parietal eye, and it's a third eye. Look it up on Google. If that is what it is, then it's completely natural. If it's a growth of some sort, then they do need to be seen by a professional. Temps are 82 to 87. 82 to 87 where? Because if that's the hot side, that is not hot enough. You need anywhere from 95 to 110 degrees on the hot side. And on the cool side is where you have anywhere from 80 to 70-ish. What is my hot side? I know the Uromastyx one is a lot hotter, but on that one you have anywhere from like 80 to 75-ish on the cool side. Hot side, you have 95 to 110. So you definitely need it to be hotter. How do I I get my baby to like his bath? I actually covered this on care tips for beginners in my video that I posted on Wednesday, so go check that out. Oh, that's so exciting. Juju Hernandez is getting her bearded dragon tomorrow and she can't wait. That's so exciting. I'm so happy for you. Just make sure you're prepared. I have a brand new dragon and he won't eat crickets. Do you know why? Well, some dragons don't like crickets. And that's okay because crickets can be rather annoying. They are a great staple and they are on the cheaper end of bugs, I believe. But it's okay if they don't like them. Just try different bugs as well. Um, and honestly, I would say that if you can get roaches or something else, that would be perfectly fine and honestly might be more beneficial simply because crickets are obnoxious, they smell, and they also are more prone to having parasites than any other bug. That said, they are perfectly fine to feed. I would just make sure that you get them from a reputable place. Places like online and stuff like that, I'm always a little skeptical of, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't order online. It's just that these bugs sometimes can have parasites more so than other bugs. This is why I don't tend to feed crickets a lot. I honestly haven't fed crickets in, I want to say like a year and a half now. I just haven't fed them. I fed mostly roaches and worms and things like that, like hornworms as treats, also BSFL. Thank you for whoever gave me a donation. And I also feed like a variety of roaches as well, like red runners, orange head roaches, just silk worms. I have tried once, but they are expensive to get to me and ship. But crickets, it's not the end of the world. If you just got them as well, they are probably a little shy and skittish, and they just need a little bit of time to adjust. Alrighty, you guys, we are at 22 minutes. When we hit 30 minutes, I am going to head out. Ooh, let's not knock you guys down. I'm going to head out at 30 minutes. So let me get to the rest of these questions. Oh, thanks so much, Harley. She said she likes my hair. That is so nice of you. Help me with my dragon. I would need more information than that. But if you want to go to my channel, there's actually a search bar on my channel that you can type in a word like bath, feeding, lighting, whatever, and all those videos will pop up. Just those one word things. So I have a bunch of advice there, nearly 100 videos. Okay. She does not eat. I found them in a tree in my backyard. They love me. That's nice and everything. I it's just pulling. I would not suggest pulling any animals out of the wild at all. Generally, I would say putting them back is the best option. I love your vids. Please answer me. Well, hello, Amy. Here's me answering you. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Hi from Israel. Hello. It's so nice to meet you, Elizabeth. I figured I would say it. How do I get my baby to like the bath? So again, go to that video I posted on Wednesday and it covers a few of those things that you can do to get them to like the bath and make them less anxious. My bearded dragon died a few days ago. Is there any recommendations on where to adopt a new one? So this one I would generally go to get like me personally, I always take in rescues. So you can go to find rescue places or maybe even try to go and find like a pet store or something like that that takes in rescues. Even you can also just get one from a breeder. You can just some place where either the dragon needs it or that they are coming from a reputable breeder and not someone that is going to give you a sick dragon that you don't know how to take care of. And then you're blindsided later and hurt because they end up dying and you don't know why. So that is my advice on that. I have a male dragon who is always blackbearding. What should I do? So that just sounds like it is normal hormones, the male hormones for them. So they tend to get really not, I wouldn't say aggressive, but just real feisty. I have a video on male versus female bearded dragon care that actually describes what males do, and it's just normal. I mean, you don't really need to do anything, just let it out. If you let them run around, they're generally going to get all of that aggression out, and they're probably going to seem like real feisty, but it's just normal for them. You could have things that are also agitating them as well. Like if they see their reflection or if they see another dragon in their view, this could be causing that. If they see another animal or someone that is agitating them, this could be causing that as well. I mean, there are a lot of different causes. If they're also ill, they could be black bearding as well with a black tail or just the black beard, or if they're injured. So, like, there's a lot of different things that could be causing that, which is why you can also check out my What Your Bearded Dragon's Trying to Tell You series. It covers all of the natural behaviors of bearded dragons, and it might be helpful. Okay. What fruits and vegetables should I feed my 2-month-old bearded dragon? So I actually have a whole feeding list video that you can check up on my channel that has I mean, a long list of things to feed. Okay. Illegal where I live. I assume you're talking about roaches. This is true for some things, but there are like plenty of other bugs to feed. I have a feeding list video where it has a whole list of things that you can feed. Hello, Jake. What are discords? Okay, so I think you mean discoids. So discoid roaches, they're roaches. Or yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're roaches. Okay. Can you please call us? We really need your help. I do not give out my number on here, but you can contact my social media. If it is an emergency that you would need a vet, I would go to a vet because I am not a vet. I'm just an experienced owner, and a lot of vet related emergency needs I can't help with because I am not a vet. And a lot of the times I'll tell you, well, this is probably what's happening, but you have to go to a vet. So really, I would recommend going to a specialist if it is of dire need. Let me see. Mine is a baby in a 10-gallon. When will I need a new tank? You will need a new tank as soon as possible. um, 10 gallons is a bit small and they grow quickly. They need a bare minimum of a 40-gallon breeder. So that is what I would honestly just get next, a 40-gallon breeder tank. Um, yeah. What would you recommend for my bearded dragon's toe? I'm not sure what the issue is with the toe. Um, I mean, there's silver sulfadizine cream. If it's like a ripped nail or something, or like a little injury, that could help. Let me see. When do you upload? So that's kind of sporadic. I try to upload on Saturdays, like today at 12:30. If not, then it's usually on Sunday at 12:30. And if not, then it's whenever I announce it. Like today or this week, I posted a video on Wednesday, and I'm doing a live this Saturday. Well, or today, Sunday. My bad. Um, so it's just kind of sporadic. All right, I have one more question. Lizard Guru, you said exotic vets are bad. I did not ever say exotic vets are bad. I said that sometimes with exotic vets, they don't, depending on where their specialty is, Um, they don't always specialize in dragons. They might specialize in something else. So I never said that they were bad. I just said that some of them aren't always as educated as they should be. But that does not mean you shouldn't go to them because they went to school, they do have a degree. In my circumstance, the exotic vets that I went to did not have enough information. And also, it was something that none of them seemed to really know on that circumstance. It was just something that seemed inevitable that had, for example, Belly. I'm talking about Belly and that vet video. Um, None of, I mean, they all ran the same test, they all had the same answers, but there was still something wrong. So in that instance, it was just kind of a fluke accident. But exotic vets have saved so many animals, and I would never go as to say they are bad at all. Mm-mm. Definitely, exotic vets are definitely needed, 100%. Do you keep fish also? Whoo! And no, I do not. I am not a fish person. I am very fish stupid, I guess you could say. I don't. Fish is not my strong suit. That's where I draw the line. Like, I know that if I were to get a fish, I would accidentally kill it in some way, not meaning to, but I just don't know fish. I'm not good with fish. I tried having beta fish, absolutely failed at that, and just did not want to try that again. So I stuck to lizards. Alrighty, you guys. So, ooh, ooh, ooh. Thanks so much, Camo Boys and Beardies, for the donation. I love your info. You've been a big help to me. I also would like you to see my new enclosure. I'll send a pic on Instagram. Fantastic. Alrighty, you guys. Ooh. And thank you so much, Camo Boys, for the donation. Alrighty, you guys, I am heading out now. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Give your dragons love for me. Also, remember that I have a website, www.lizardguru.com, with a bunch of fun lizard things. I also have more products coming for holiday launches. So, I will see y'all later. I will see y'all next Saturday, hopefully. If not, I will announce it another day. And bye. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. If I can get out of here.